Warning: the following video contains images and opinions that some viewers may find disturbing. Care at discretion is advised.
How can I explain when there are few words I can choose? How can I explain when words get broken?
Hello, Commanders. You know, sometimes when I'm out there, cruising through the black, staring at the exact same variations of planets and stars over and over again, sometimes I feel like I just need to get away from it all, you know? And what better place to get away from it all than the beach? In fact, why don't we charge up our friendship drives and head over to the beach and build some sandcastles right now? Now isn't this just a nice beach? There's so much space here. So relaxing, so beautiful. But you know, this is a very special beach. The folks who own it, they know that there are a lot of different people out there. And they know that everybody has their own special way of enjoying sandcastles. So they divided the beach up into 4 separate parts. That way, everybody can have a chance to build a sandcastle in the way they want to. Why don't we take a look at these 4 parts? This part of the beach is called Close Quarter Beach, or CQB. We don't talk about this part of the beach. This part of the beach is very special. It's an entire section of beach just for you. No one can come in and bother you. You're free to build the sandcastle of your dreams, and no one can stop you. It's just you here. Isn't that awesome? An entire section of beach with just you in it. This is called Solo Beach. This next part of the beach is really cool. It's divided up into a whole bunch of little smaller sections. But the biggest sections that anybody can go into, it's just like Solo Beach, except there's a bunch of other people there. They're all there building their own sandcastles too, and no one is allowed to go and bother anybody else. You can sit there and roam around and chat with people, and show off your sandcastle and go and see theirs. It's like one big happy family where everybody can have fun building sandcastles together. This beach is called Private Beach. Now, this last section of the beach is really unique. You see, the people who own this beach, well, they know that there are some people out there who enjoy bashing each other's sandcastles for fun. This group of people, they all know that when they go out and build sandcastles together, they're gonna try as hard as they can to build up their sandcastle and stop other people from bashing it while they go out and bash other people's. Some people don't even like bashing other people's sandcastles. They just like the thrill of knowing that they need to be really careful or their sandcastle might get bashed by somebody else. And that's totally okay. For those people, this is a really fun way to play and build sandcastles. And so this entire section of the beach is just for them. Anybody who goes on to this section of the beach, even if they don't want to go over and bash other people's sandcastles, they know that if they're on this section of the beach, that someone might come over and bash their sandcastle. And that's part of the fun of it. This place is called Open Beach. Now, as you can see, this beach is really big and there's a lot of space here for all sorts of different people. If you just want to build a sandcastle by yourself and don't want anybody around, you can go to Solo Beach. If you want to build your sandcastle but you don't want any risk of someone bashing it, but you want to hang out with other people and help them build their sandcastles and share building tips, you can go to private beach. But if you're somebody who likes bashing sandcastles and likes the risk of your sandcastle getting bashed, then you can go to open beach. There's all sorts of room here. Everybody who likes sandcastles, there's a place here for them. Now, if you don't want your sandcastle to get bashed, if you don't like the idea that someone would be allowed to bash your sandcastle, well, go to solo beach or private beach. Those two sections of the beach are just for you. They're for people like you, and there's a lot of people like you, and it's okay if you don't like getting your sandcastle bashed. Some people just want to relax and have fun building. They don't want the stress of having to worry about protecting their castle from getting bashed or going out and bashing other people's. And that's fine. There is a place on this beach, 2 places on this beach in fact, for those sorts of people. So why the actual fuck would someone who doesn't want their sandcastle bashed knowingly go into the one place where it is 100% allowed and in many cases encouraged? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I sound a little annoyed right there? Oh, not my bad. I didn't mean to sound annoyed. It's just that, well, I mean, like I said, there are 2 entire sections of beach for people who don't want anything to do with sandcastle bashing, and yet there are people who, despite the fact they know there are 2 entire sections of the beach dedicated to them, they still come over into open beach. They come into open beach, they do their thing, and then when someone comes over and bashes their sandcastle, because that's what you do in open beach, that's what people go there for. That's why that part of the beach exists, is for people who want to bash sandcastles or enjoy the risk of getting their sandcastle bashed. That's the fun of it. And yet these people, they still come over and knowingly choose to build their sandcastle in open beach, knowing what open beach is for, and when they get their sandcastle bashed, they go on to r/sandcastle builders and they leave comments like this.
The attitude of a ganker and a rapist is the same. They enjoy making others suffer for their own pleasure. The fact that rape is more traumatic doesn't change a thing. Or is it alright to abuse weaker people as long as they don't need therapy after it? Sorry, man. That's just bullshit.
Fuck you. Alright, enough of that bullshit. We're here talking about Elite Dangerous and Gankers and Griefers and Care Bears and all of that bullshit. You want to know what the actual people ruining this community and making the game unfun are? I'll tell you, it's not Harry Potter, it's not Rinsler or Zarek Knoll or Nightshady, it's not Kinmob or Masslock Mafia, it's not SDC or Nomads or 13th. You want to know who the real scumbags in this community are? It's the people who get blown up in a video game and then go on to leave comments like this. It's the people who desperately try to equate losing in a video game, because that's what it is. You got a game over screen. You've got a temporary game over screen in a video game, and these people are sitting there trying to go, I was raped. I was the victim of terrorism. Harry Potter's a murderer. No. Fuck you. Fuck you, you apathetic, delusional, cloistered piece of shit. You were not raped. You were not murdered. You were not the victim of terrorism. As someone who is close with people who actually have been violently sexually assaulted, how fucking dare you try to equate anything that you experience in Elite Dangerous to the actual real life trauma that people have to go through when they are the victim of a heinous crime. How dare you, you fucking... You know, I'm not even going to call you a Care Bear at this point. A Care Bear would actually have empathy for rape victims. You do not. You are a cockroach, a skittering little filthy vermin infesting this community, and everything would be so much better, so much more pleasant, gankers and all, if you just fucked off. That is what terrorism looks like. Rewind, take a good look, because that is what terrorism looks like. This is not terrorism.
Salome has left the building. Woo! Get him out of here!
Is it open?
Rip.
That was players of a computer game taking part in a developer-sanctioned event to either protect or hunt down and kill a player-controlled NPC as part of a story event. But that didn't stop the cockroaches from sending Harry Potter death threats, telling him to kill himself, saying that if they saw him they would assault him in the street, demanding that he be permanently banned, calling him a psychopath, a terrorist, a murderer, all sorts of things, all for doing something that even the developers of the game were allowing people to do. Sorry about that. I got a little pissed off, and I apologize. But really, can you blame me? I mean, like I said, I am close friends with people who have been the victims of heinous crimes, and I've talked people out of suicide. I've been there to console people when their trauma comes back to haunt them, and I have to remind them that they're safe, that it's okay, and that whoever hurt them in the past isn't going to do it again. I mean, some people can cope with it really well. Others, it fucks with them for the rest of their lives. So when I see people trying to say that because they were ganked in Elite Dangerous or any game, really, and they try and say or imply that they are deserving of the same level of empathy as any of those people that I know, or anybody out there who's ever been the victim of a violent or heinous crime, just, it makes my blood boil a little bit, you know? Now, I love Elite Dangerous. I really do. I give it a lot of shit, but it comes from a place of love, you know? I want it to be the best game it can be. It's already an amazing game with amazing people playing and amazing stuff that can happen in it, but I still think that it can be far, far better than what it currently is. And, well, I have pointed out its many flaws a lot of times to people on social media or in Discords or just chatting and whatnot. I still think, by far, the biggest flaw with Elite Dangerous is its community. There's this sentiment that gankers are the scum of the earth, and they're not. Yeah, sure, you got ganked and you lost some progress. It's your fault for being an open play. I'm sorry, but when there are two modes specifically designed for people who don't want to deal with PvP, you have no excuse. You went into the open PvP environment, you went in there knowing the kinds of players that are in there, and you ate shit for it. You see, the thing about PvP is that it's human nature. We're a competitive species. We always have been, and we always will be. And in the context of video games, it doesn't matter if it's a closed, structured, match-based game mode, or if it's an open PvP environment like Elite Dangerous, or EVE, or Ultima Online, or Mortal. It's part of the experience. If a game has PvP built into it, it means that part of the experience is supposed to be PvP. And if you don't want that in your experience, then either don't play a game that is just PvP, or choose to play the modes in that game that specifically aren't PvP enabled. In Elite Dangerous, you can easily just play in private group in Mobius or solo. You don't have to be in open play, and the moment you enter the open PvP environment in any game that one exists in, the moment you enter that PvP environment, you are consenting to any interactions of a competitive nature that might come your way. You can call people griefers, you can call them sociopaths, it doesn't matter. You consented, you are the one that's in control of what's happening to you because you chose to go into that environment. And you can call people griefers, sociopaths, murderers, whatever you want. At the end of the day, we're all just people playing video games and having fun. Some people do it for the competitive aspect, other people do it to make their mark and make communities remember them for the entire duration of the game's life cycle. It's fun. It might not be fun for you, but for other people it is. Everybody has their own preferences, and to treat people like shit for it is just, it makes no sense. It's childish. And in all my years of playing games, of being really heavy into PvP and all that, whenever I go into an open PvP environment and I get people are sitting there and complaining, what ends up happening is that they didn't know what to expect. And I think a lot of that is what's happening here in Elite. Frontier don't do a good job of making it very clear, like irrefutably clear, that open play is the PvP mode. It is the mode for people who want to do PvP or who enjoy the risk of being PvP'd. And so I think something that Frontier could easily do is just implement like a little text box, a confirmation window, that when you click on open play to sign into that mode, instead of just taking you right in, it instead brings up a little box that says, reminder, open play is PvP enabled. Do not play in this mode unless you are willing to accept the risk of potential hostile player encounters. And then, if you don't want to accept it, just click cancel and go select something else. If you do want to keep going in, you can just press OK and then it'll sign you in like normal. But this will make it absolutely clear to anybody clicking on open that if they are going into there, they should expect and prepare for potential player versus player encounters. And then there's no question, and anybody who continues to complain and continues to whine and scream, they only have themselves to blame. Remember, griefing is harassment. It is direct, targeted harassment of the person behind the screen. Ganking in a PvP environment, that's not griefing, that's ganking. And you can be mad about getting ganked all you want. It's still valid gameplay. The moment that you start insulting somebody, threatening them, or attacking them in any way that's not exclusively in-game contextually, you become the griefer. Not them, you. At the end of the day, we're all just here to play video games and have fun. Sometimes our idea of fun might conflict with other people's, and that's okay. That's part of the fun of games like Elite Dangerous, where anything can happen, and we need to be prepared for every possibility. I am Commander Ark the Dragon. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.
Care Bears countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who's that coming from somewhere up in the sky? Moving fast and bright as a firefly. Just when you think the trouble's gonna pounce, who's gonna be there when it really counts? Do that Care Bears countdown and send a wish out through the air. Just send a wish out in the dark.